Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. I'm currently dismantling the wiring, and I've just taken the bench out of this van. So before it had a bench sitting up to about here, two key machines, a vise, and some slats to put some of these plastic trays in down there. But, well, there's the bench there, as you can see. So I've decided to rip this out, and I mean, it was good enough. You had your one key machine here, one key machine here, a vise, bit of carpet, and all the trays. Those trays there could just go in there. But I'm going for something better. And, you know, I spent a lot of money on caddy products in the past, and yeah, they're good. But the thing is that when this van was built, it was built with these caddy shelving here. So this one here, and then this one accessible from there. And what we found is, as locksmiths, I actually need a bench at the back. So you can get custom-made benches and all this sort of stuff, or caddy could have built it. This was originally built for an electrician, this type of setup. And we've used it for a number of years, and it's worked okay. One of the biggest problems is you always get rubbish around this part here, and then climbing into here to retrieve other locks is just too much trouble. So what I'm doing is I'm actually remodeling it, and I know it looks terrible now, but it'll look better, and we're going to make it simpler. So one of the simpler add-ons that I did is I cut these shelvings and introduced this slide out here, and that's been quite good. Now, one of the things with the slide outs that I was quite surprised about was that the amount of access that you actually get with one of these things. Like, they give you a lot. I mean, they get heavy as anything, and sometimes you don't want to pack too much at the back because they'll fall down, but you do get a lot. So that's been easier. I mean, they're heavy as anything to move, but it's accessing it a lot better than having to climb through and get to these shelvings. Sometimes the simpler things are the easiest way to go. So what I've decided to do to make this easier, because this shelf is just a nightmare to grab stuff from, and look at it, it's half empty, looks terrible. This shelf here is a nightmare to grab stuff from, it's half empty and a mess as well. So I'm going to remove these two shelves. I'm just going to take these two shelves out, and what I'm going to do in this van is do something what I've done before. And what's that saying? Keep it simple, stupid. And that's pretty much what we're going to do here. I'm going to add on top of these van vault drawers. I've got another two that are going here, and then I've got another one on top, which is going to bring the bench level up to the same level. So that's going to be fine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a big huge board across the top. We're going to use this long passageway here for a ladder, and then we'll use the other side one for some car opening tools and big easy tool and under the door tool and stuff like that. Then I'll see what's left. I might custom cut these down, spin it around so you can reach in and grab it, you know, like trays. But for now, I'm going back to a simple method of just drawers. And I saw this in one of my vans that I worked at when I was an apprentice. They had basically just a little makeshift bench at the back, and they had a big set of drawers in the middle. No custom shelving, no nothing. Just a big set of like toolbox type setup. And that worked for him pretty well. Me, I've always gone with caddy shelving and over-engineer it and buy the expensive stuff and all that. And realistically speaking, yeah, it does work when it's all clean. But for us, I'm finding the best layout to be the most easiest one to achieve. And that's been with these slide outs. So I'm going to get rid of this, bring them up, stack them all up so they all slide out from the back. They've all even got keys and locks, so they're pretty rock solid as far as people breaking in and things like that. They're, with the additional locks on them, you've got to get into the car, then get into that. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with them. They are heavy as anything. What I will have to do is most likely put some bigger leaf springs in the back of this vehicle, or put some airbags to lift it up a bit, because when I put another 3 of these on the back, plus a bench, plus a stock in it, it's going to move the distribution of weight. So at the moment, it's reasonably well weighted. But what you don't want to do in a vehicle is have too much weight on one side or too much weight to the front, the back. You want to have it evenly distributed around the vehicle for handling and safety and things like that, tire wear, and the way it drives. So drivability, I guess you could say. So anyway, this is what it looks like now, and probably in about a week or so, I'll have it all nicely looking. I might even put the key machines on a bit of a slide out over this side. I'll just see how we go. But for now, yeah. We put this underneath, and that was good, underneath that bench. And now we're just going to keep it completely simple and just basically make it just a big huge box with a couple of slide outs, a couple of key machines, and done. I had another locksmith ask me, oh yeah, how do I put together a van and stuff like that, and one of the pieces of advice I gave to him was, just get yourself a couple of this. Okay, look at this disaster. Might even flick the lights on, see if we can blow a fuse here. Oh, look at that. Didn't blow a fuse. Alright, so as you can clearly see, I have ripped out 2 of these bad boys and a bench. 1, 2, and a bench. Alright, this is where we're at. Now, I was waiting on one guy on Marketplace to get the next one, and then it would be all complete. And I really like things when they're all complete, you know, like all lined up, all symmetrical, all the same color. You know, I like that type of shit, so it looks good. But I've had a bit of an epiphany, a bit of a thought process going on here. Now, this right here is going to be a lot easier. Yep, that's definitely going to be a lot easier than climbing through there, getting out stuff out of that shelf, or getting out stuff out of this shelf. So that's really doubled it, especially for the knob sets, which are really chunky. There's one. Now, we've got a lot of tool problems going on. As you can see, there's a whole heap of pile of tools there. And I'll be fixing this too. I don't like those lock systems. I'm just going to do like a pull down, spring loaded type thing. Alright, that's one. So this one will probably be tools. Okay, the drawer will come up to about here, and it is like a little high, but you can clearly see in there. This van works a lot at night, so I'm going to improve these lights too. I'm not happy with these lights. This light is what's at the moment just shining there, but what I need is more light on this central section here when this is out. Alright, so that's, look, at the moment I've got 6 UFO lights, as you can see. 9 UFO lights up there, so that's why you're seeing it quite well illuminated now. But if I turn these off, you're going to see how it looks at night. And let's just do that actually. Traveling over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've still got one going. Where's that? Okay. So this is what you're going to see at night time. Although that is okay, it's definitely not enough. Definitely not enough. So I'm going to be mounting some lights on the door facing down, probably about here, with an additional switch to really illuminate it, because when you're in the middle of the night on somebody's driveway and you're looking for a lock, you actually got to read the labels on the back of the lock. And if we go over here, try reading that. You know, there we go. Is that the right one? Is that the right one? Too hard. All right, so let's get the UFOs back on. Here we go. Okay, we've got some light. Okay, so more light at the back of the van for keying up at the middle of the night time and fetching locks, definite. So I'm going to get some of those driving lights, the ones they use for the front of the car, and I'm going to be mounting them facing down. At the moment, this is my electricals, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know how I kind of wire these up. You've got a juicy cable coming in, which is fused from the battery, probably a 20 amp fuse, I guess, and then you'd come here and you'd start to break it off like a spider web. Lights, 5 amp, key machine, 5 amp, another key machine, another 5 amp, and stuff like that. So I'll probably even introduce 2 lighting circuits. I've got my main switch here, so all of this I'm going to be pulling out and tidying up all these brackets left over from that sort of stuff, and making new brackets. These are pretty cool because they have inserts in them, so I can actually just bolt these to the next one. So you bolt one to the body and then you bolt to the bolt, and that will be okay, because they've got a bit of weight. They're not really going anywhere. It's just basically so they don't move back and forth. Now here's the thing that I was thinking, right? Like I wanted one more, okay, and that means that your bench height is this high, and I'm 6 foot, and that is 80 mil below my nipple. Okay, so if you can think about that, so keying up here, not desirable. I want it to be probably about here, you know, so you can lean over it and stuff like that. Here's about 100 mil too high, so I'm not really happy with that. But on saying that, as you get older, sometimes you do have to get a little bit closer and you need a bit more illumination because your eyes aren't as good, especially after you hit 40. So I think a bench here with good illumination is going to be awesome. So that right now, yeah, maybe about 4 fingers below my nipple. It's high. But the previous bench, I did mark it, was about here. So if you look to here, you're only talking about that much. So that's doable. That's doable. 40-50 mil higher on the bench, fine. So one of the things I haven't worked out yet is the vise, whether or not I'm going to do a slide out vise, and I'm thinking about that, a vise that you twist, you pull out on a bit of a metal here, and what that allows you to do is put something in the vise about here and then cut it and grind it, and if you look, you'll be just like chips on the ground and all those sparks won't be going in your van. So I'm liking the idea of a slide out vise to push back. When the vise sits up here, you have to have a handle at the front and all the rest, and if you don't wind it all the way in, what's going to happen? It's going to break the glass or it's going to hit the door. No good. So I think a slide out vise is the way to go because it's not always in use, and it'd be good to slide it back and have that little, even if it's 100 mil more here, you know, when you want the vise, undo it, slide it, big solid bit of metal. So I'm looking for a vise slider. That's one thing that I'm doing. Now I'm also looking for another box here, but I've had a thought, and I'm thinking to myself, this size shape is not too bad, and that's what we're left with here. That's what we're left with. There's going to be a bench straight across. That's where the locks are going to be keyed up and things like that. I'm going to hopefully do some diagonal tray holders for pinning kits along this side and maybe along this side, because that's just so easy to reach right there. Put your pinning kit there, use that, put it back, because we deal with about 4 or 5 different pinning kits. So it would be nice to do that. The most used pinning kit might even just screw it onto the bench, just as a nice easy one, you know, like here, open it up, bang, away you go. So what am I doing here? Well, I was thinking to myself, what about just doing a slide out? Right, I can possibly pick one of these up. I've driven about 4 hours today picking up 2 of these, and I'm kind of over it because they don't make them anymore. The ones from Bunnings aren't as good, and they're retail. And this van, as you see it, like, it's not a brand new van. I'm just trying to make it practical within budget. I mean, literally, if I was to buy this and 2 of these, it'll cost me about between 12 and 1400 Australian, and if I was to buy them second hand, I bought both of these for $450. So if I buy one more, it'll be $550. So we're talking a pretty big saving there. They're pretty rock solid. I don't mind if they're scratched or painted or bashed up, because we're going to do a lot worse to them. But here's my thought process. Why don't I just create a slide out here, and this section here can be for key machines, code machine, code cards, code books, key blanks. Slide it out. And I was looking at these rails here. If you look at this, and this is just an example. So basically, that's 1, 2. I'll be sliding out to here. Look at that. Look at it from this. Look at it from this perspective. And these are solid. They'll take 100 kilos. So you can cut keys here, and when you're finished, you just sweep all the brass wherever it wants to go. And I've got room for 1, 2 books, keys, and then when you're done, you can simply slide it back in. Yeah, they're not fixed or anything. So these slides are pretty heavy duty. They're used for fridges and stuff like that on caravans and all the rest. So I was thinking about doing like a cubby hole slide out platform, because this right here is up to my waist. See that? That's my waist. So waist height is good for a key machine. You've got more control. You can look over the top of it. When you're looking, you want to be looking like this when you're cutting the key. Okay, so you're actually peering over the top of it. If I was to put it up here, where I'm standing now, I would literally be leaning in my head to this position here, and I'm on my tippy toes right now, trying to see where my cutter is and trying to see where my guide is. So it's too high. It's just too high. So moving this down here, And then if it was to be slid out to here, take this as an example, I think that's a good height. I can quite easily lean over the top. I'm far enough away from the machine too. You don't want to get too close because locksmiths are quite lazy, and a lot of locksmiths don't even use goggles. So you don't want to be too close because you can catch one of those things in your eye and it will be nasty. One little filing in your eye, very nasty. It's not metal, it's brass. So, not like you can use a magnet. Brass splinters generally turn green, and that's how you find them, so you can dig it out. And it's not digging it out precisely, it's like butchering it out to clean it out. So you don't want that shit in your eye, and being further away from where the chips are being sprayed is ideal. But you do want that position where you're like this. Like literally my camera right now is right next to my eye, so I'd be looking, and I think that is probably about where you want to be. So unfortunately I don't get symmetrical, unfortunately I don't get nice this and that, and unfortunately I've got more work to make this into a slide out, but I reckon that's going to be the go as far as practicality. So we've gone from having shelves where you've got to climb in, you can't reach this one, shelves that are all there, too hard to reach, dig all this out, climb in here and dig it all out. We've skipped all that. So there will be a couple of buckets full of old locks and things like that from the day's job. There'll be a milk crate with the day's work that's gone in, you know, new locks to be fitted, gone in, a couple of, you know, toolboxes and chuck in stuff there. That shelf is on a bit of an angle, I'll fix that too. And then here you'd simply have all your locks in nice order and tools in this one. So you could come along, pull it out, find your tool, find your power tool, because having your tools in order is a game changer. It saves you time. So I'm thinking that I've probably got enough. I don't need to buy another box, another one of these. I would have liked it. I mean, I could buy another one and I could actually cut out like this section here if I really wanted to be pedantic, because then as you pull it out, your key machines are in this nice box. See this? I mean, yeah, I could just buy another one, not mess around with the slides, and just do it out of a box and just drop one more here. Just cut this wall out and put a little bit of reinforcement in it. I mean, that would look ideal. So when you walk up to it, there'd be two yellow lids here, just like this. Just turn it, pull it out, and operate it from this side. But unfortunately, getting another box is going to be a headache, and I don't know if it's worth the effort to do it. Anyway, I'll check back and do another video as we progress. Okay, just an update. So I have the bottom one bolted down to the chassis. So what I thought I'd do is I'll just piggyback off that one for the next one and the next one up. So they've got these inserts in here, as you can see. So I was able to just make some brackets and just bolt it up. So I'll show you the other side. Okay. More brackets, more brackets. So that keeps it bolted down. There's going to be some weight in it anyway, so it's not really going to move. Just basically making it into a solid. What I've done here is I've done the slide out, and that's working pretty cool. So you lift one down, one up, and then you just pull it out. Okay, locks in. So that's how far it actually comes out. So that's quite a bit. There's enough there for three machines, maybe even 4. So let's push that back in. Yep. They do lock in at halfway, but that's no big deal. Okay, that's locked in. There's a little room behind it because I use rails and then right angle and then a bit of filler board and then another board on top. So I put this underneath because that's jammed in between the rail and I've put in a cable behind it so it can only go out that far. So in theory, that's where the key blanks are going to live, and that just makes it easy to pull in and out. So if you want a key blank, grab your key blanks and slide it back in. There'll probably be a bit of weight in there, so I'll see how that works. If not, we use it for folders and FPOS machines or something else lightweight. I've put a board on the side. That's going to give me a little bit of structural strength. I put some L brackets on there L brackets on here, so once all that's bolted down, then I'll pin it against the wall, and that should be enough for a bench. I mean, you could literally sleep on that. That'll be strong enough. I put in some extra brackets here, so did that on all the drawers, because these locks are, if you lock them and slam it, you basically break the lock. So I can see how that's going to go, and it's easier just to grab the spring-loaded lock, pull it, and pull the drawer. So that's the update. That's where we're at to now. Now I'm going to put the board on top, put a backing board on there, dress the bench, and then start to work on the key machines and the vise and the electrics. Okay, update. So I put the better part of today into it, probably about 5-6 hours. So I've put the bench on. I've cut my caddy shelving and put this in here. So these are just trays, so they're easy to pick. It's a bit hard to see at night, and I've just capped the back of that. So I got the bench in. Bench is in. I've put this rubber on there, which is quite nice. I've put the adhesive, and of course the adhesive has gas in it. So hopefully that'll go back down. It has done in the past, but the gas has to, see, it's got like a little tick going. Anyway, I'm running the van off power battery at the moment, because I put some new lights in and I'm just rerunning the circuits. I wasn't really terribly happy with what I had. This is what I had before. I can make it nicer and neater. So just working out where that's going to go. And it's easier sometimes just to cut it and redo it. I prefer to just cut it and redo it rather than go over old wiring. So I'll just take that main feed that's coming in, make a distribution board, make some switches, put some fuses on it, and then just link out to all the accessories that I've got. So at the moment, this is the amount of light that's being produced on the bench, which I'm reasonably happy with. I've also got another one of these same LEDs just there, and then I've got a little one and another little one, so that'll illuminate that area. So that should be enough. I've even gone to putting lights up here. See these? There and there. So I've put these 4 lights in. What they do is they just bring light into this area here. So what I'll do is I'll turn off all the lights now, and we'll just test it. Okay, so now we're in the dark. So as you can see, there is a light puddle right about here, which is exactly what I wanted, because I want to see what's in the drawer, and that I'm happy with. Next thing is with the key machine. I had a bit of troubles with these rails. These rails are shit. They're the ones with the ball bearings. I won't buy them again. All the ball bearings came out of one side. I had to rebuild it. So I've got the slide happening. There we go. So you've got the HPC on one side, and there's enough light here. I'm going to put in an extra like little extended light to bring the light down right on the key cutting. Put in a little tray for HPC cards and a place for the code books, just to keep it all nice and tidy. And yeah, I'm happy with that. You know, it doesn't normally come out this far. You'd only bring it out this far if you're cutting a key to code. Just give the HPC a quick adjust and she's back in action. Yeah, beautiful. So that's all there. I still have to do the wiring for that, but that should be fairly easy. So this slides back in. Bang, that's locked in. Okay, so we've got our bench in, we've got our slide in, key tray. So there'll be four trays there. Actually, I'm going to have to move that, otherwise that's going to not work for me. Anyway, small problems. And release that way. See what key you want. Push it back. Pop the machine out. Probably do about here. I had to take the guide off. I had to take rubber boots off, and I only just made it. Probably about 20 mil. 20 mil maybe? Yeah, about 20 mil. Maybe about 10 on that. Now 20. Anyway, that's where we're at. That's working good. So yeah, definitely probably a distribution, a switchboard and a light switching here. Still have to find a vice slide, probably a vice slide coming out on a bit of an angle out here to bring it out over here, so when you're chopping, all the swarf's going to go down on the ground, nowhere else. And that's about all I got to report. So hopefully 1 or 2 more days and this shall be in action, but at least everything's mounted in now. everything's rock solid, so it's looking a lot better than it was having to climb through and deal with that caddy. When you had the two caddy shelvings here and the bench at the back, it was frustrating to say the least. I wasn't the one using the van, but the thing is, if you got to climb through your pile of rubble to get your lock out and then get it out of the cabinet, it's too much. So we're hoping that these cabinets will be the go. They're pretty big. Okay, so this side's done. So good access to one whole shelf. Probably put one other container in there. Okay, so today I finished off the slide. I've put in the electrics and stuff like that. Basically there's a wire coming from the front, goes underneath the metal and then pops out, and I've just run it along the side here. Some of the wiring could be a little bit better. Basically stuck on and this cable tied in, but it's out of the way. It's running up there. It's good enough. I've had to custom make a little corner box, so you flick that on, turn your lights on. Sorry, here we go. So it's a big switch. I've done this with a lot of my vans, so basically all on, all off. So I had to prefab a little box, as you can see, and then you got your lights and your key machine and your other key machine. The bench itself, the contacted adhesive has gases, so the gases create bubbles. Some will go down, but I've put these big heavy pavers on top just to squeeze out some of that air. I'm going to put a little tiny aluminium trim on the front. That's still to do. I had to redo the railings and things, getting locking in the right spot. So one down, one up, and that pulls out. So you can move it to about wherever you want. If you want it to click in, you got to pull it all the way out. It's one click, and there we go, 2 clicks. So now that's solid. Alright, a spot for the cards. It's got an umbilical cord here. That's just because it slides in and out, and a spot for the code book and the tools. So that's all happening. To take the lock off, you just pull this one up and one down, and it just slides back. The umbilical cord just basically slides in and out. With this right here, I put in a little light. As you get older, sometimes it's a bit hard to see, and that allows for, when you're cutting, to be able to gauge it. If you're gauging by eye, once again here too, to make sure you're cutting good, and that can just sit down just like that, and you push it back in. So both key machines working. It's a HBC, it's a 007, got a light, awesome. Push that there, and both locks lock in. So for the key blanks, they'll be going there. I've got to get some more plastic trays. I might do some right angle just so these don't move around, but for now they're just there. I might even take the lids off too, because you can see how much room I got. See? A mil maybe. So I might even have to give them a little millimeter of clearance. Toolbox down the side, that's one of the ones that's always sort of fetched, so that can stay there. As far as the lighting, yeah, the lighting is good. I showed you these lights before, and throughout the van it's good, especially on the main bench. Lighting is important. And I just want to show you these. See these little things? This is an old one. This is a new one, so they don't fall out. But whoever designed these wrong. You should have designed it with the hinge at the top, so that way, when they fail, when the plastic gets knocked around, they would have failed in the right direction, like failed safe. Anyway, move around here. So this is another point where I'll have to make some adjustments. There's some picking containers there. There'll be a big bin just to chuck rubbish, because always when you're fitting and stuff like that, you got to have somewhere to chuck your rubbish, your old locks and things like that. Anything that can be recycled will be chucked in there and cleaned out once a week. So now the question is what to do with this space. A lot of people like toolboxes. They like the space. They like to be able to just throw a milk crate in on the floor, or a couple of milk crates, and then work out of them, or different toolboxes, or storage, or ship pile, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, that's where we're up to. I'll do another video once in a few days when I work out if I'm going to add more cupboards in here. Like, one of the things I'm thinking is you need to have somewhere to put your screws and parts, and most of this is all new stock, so it would be good to have a screw and a parts container. So I think I'm going to look at that and see what I can do with that. Okay, so this is the final product. I haven't finished the bench. I'm still I'm working out if I want to put a backboard there with some tools on it and things like that, and some pinning kits on a diagonal on the side, but that's going to have to come later. We've had a few issues with the bench, and one of them was a vise. If we mount a vise there, it's too high for one, and for two, if you wind it out, it's going to end up hitting the window and the glass and break the glass, so we need a foolproof option for that. The key machines are all done, they're all good, so I've even put the little light in, like I said I would, so they're good to go. They just slide back in. We've got the key cases in there, they're good to go. I've filled up with some knob sets, so as you can see, this is 1 meter squared of just knob sets, and if you don't look after them, they get crushed, and you need it. You need privacy, passage, entrance, silver, gold, a couple of brown, commercial, lever, entrance, a couple of gold ones, lever, residential, gold, privacy, entrance, passage. So before you know it, you're carrying a shit ton of, knob sets. This is about as many as we normally carry, but as you can see, there's quite a lot there. And customers, they have a silver lock on their door, you've got to put a silver one. They want a gold one, you've got to put a gold. You want brown, you've got to put brown. If you don't, it looks terrible. If it's got to be a fire rated commercial lock, you've got to have it. So that's why having all of these in that storage container in there, where you had to climb through over all your junk and then open a box and then dig them out, was just too much. Having them here, allows you to rock up, grab it and swap it out. So that's good. The drawer itself is a little bit heavy now. It's got tools, put things in. This one we just put some tools in. I mean, all of these will probably change. It's locked. I am happy with those locks. My locks that I put in, much better. These ones here, they work, but if you leave it locked and you slam the drawer, it's just going to break this lock, which is in the back of it, and you've got to swap it out. So I wouldn't be using them full time, because if they fail and you're on a job site, where's all your tools? It's in the box. How do you get them out? You need to call your friend to come and draw your disc lock out. So disc locks are good to lock it, but not good to lock it with every single time. That's why when you definitely want to lock it, you just go like that, it's locked. And the rest of the day you leave it like that and use these things. More practical. Alright, so the vise. We couldn't put the vise there. I wanted to do a slide out here, bring the vise to about, just slightly below waist, but then I lose that space. I have to bolt it to the chassis. I have to manufacture like a tube steel and then get it slidable, put your hand, it's a lot of work. And for what we use for a vise for, generally it's for bashing, so I'm going to mount a metal plate about here on the strongest point, and that can be used for stamping, bashing, straightening, stuff like that. When we want to do cutting, I've had to compromise for a removable vise, which is just one that we had lying around, and this one here we can actually mount it onto the drawer, and we can mount it onto that drawer, use the angle grinder, cut the piece of metal, use the hacksaw, polish it up, do what we got to do, and then put it back in the drawer. That vise is also good because you can take it on site to where you need it, and you can mount it on just about anything to give yourself a surface for a vise to cut and drill. So that, that's not a bad vise. Would have been nice to have a fixed vise, but the problem is the vise should have been about here, and this is the only spot left, so I've decided not to put it there. We'll go for a bashing plate, a straightening plate, and a removable vise. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to have to do this part next week if I get a chance, but the pinning kit's on an angle over here, some hand tools ready just to grab here, and then some shit collectors. I've got them here, three-piece shit collectors. They'll definitely work. And another bit of Bunnings here. I've got this one here because if I tilt it on a slight bit of an angle, I'm not expecting them to come down and travel. Slight angle, put a piece of wood behind it, and then it's just a simple picking drawer, because the top 6 key blanks, it'd be nice to just have them kind of here. I know we've got this nice slide out drawer, but when you want to just cut another key, it'd be nice just to reach over here, grab yourself an LW4, LW5, pull out the key machine and rattle it off. Apart from that, that's kind of what it is. So that's the makeover on the iLoad. I'm not too sure about this. Leave down in the comments what you think. I'll show you roughly what we're talking about. Here we go. Got some cheap tools here just to give you an idea on what we're talking. So put some tools there, put some pinning kits there, and some magnetic racks, so there'll be all tools here. So basically, you know, you can come up here, quickly do a change combo, all your tools are here, your keys are here, everything will be here, key machine. So yeah, leave down in the comments. You think I should do a midi wall? I mean, there's another van I did a review on and it had it, and it actually works really good just to have your tools in front of you, just to pick at them and then do the job and put them back. You know, and in such a big van, I wouldn't really want to put the tools in a drawer or have another toolbox you've got to open and sit on the bench. It's easier just to have them in front of you. I'll take you around this side. So yeah, from the back of it, I've got a spot for a ladder over there. We were putting that in that spot there, but unfortunately I had to bolt this down where I could bolt it, leaving enough room for the ladder to be able to access. I've put some of these trays up the top here. This just gives us more room, and I've put just a container on the side there, which is a bin, because after you fit it up a couple of locks, you end up with the wrapping of the new lock, the old lock inside it, some crap, some screws, and it's all keepable stuff that should be sorted out, put into trays, like the screws, metal screws, wood screws, self-tapping screws, so, or any parts you can strip off. It's all good to put in the trays, so that's why you chuck it in the bin. When you get back to the office, you can sort it out. So anyway, that's how it's looking at the moment. One thing left to do. The lighting's not too bad. It's usable. The bench itself, we've still got a few little bubbles. Look, it's gone down about 80% on the bubbles, and they will go down to 100% over time. So, and when you push them, you get that nice glue stinky smell, but that'll fade. Anyway, so that's the remake of the iLoad for 2024. It's certainly a little bit more usable. All right, thanks for watching.